Hello and welcome to the Data Explorer's daily video update. So today, on the back of US retail sales figures being announced today, we're going to be looking at US retailers announcing third quarter earnings. So just to give you a quick background on US retail sales, in September a 0.6% increase was recorded, quite a positive outlook. This also beat market expectations. A high proportion of this was down to auto sales, but generally a good month for retail. So last week, Goldman Sachs released a retail sales report over the past week, and they actually reported a 1.3% increase in retail sales for the week ending November the 6th. So just segmenting the retail sector out, let's first look at the furniture and home furnishings segment. They've actually been doing really well, an increase in sales over the last 3 months. The first stock we're going to have a look at is Home Depot. So Home Depot announcing third quarter earnings this week. They've seen a significant short covering over the past month. Since October, we've seen short interest fall from about 1.4% down to about 0.8% as current. Lendable quantity, however, has been falling and is down from about 370 million shares down to 311 shares at the million shares at the moment. A similar company is Lowe's companies, now quite a thinly traded stock in terms of securities lending, insignificant short interest here. Moving on is Dillard, who also operate in fashion too, as well as home furnishings. They actually reported last week that comparable store sales over the month of October had fallen by about 1%. So it'd be quite interesting to see what they report as their third quarter earnings this week. Short interest, some activity going on here over the past 6 months or so. Back in May, we saw short interest at about 8%. This rose continuously up until October, hitting a 52-week high at 20%. Since then, what we did see is some short covering. However, short sellers have piled back into their positions, and short interest is back up from about 16%, now up to 19% of total shares outstanding on loan. So moving over to clothing, let's have a look at Saks, the high fashion retail store. They actually hit a 52-week high in their share price last week. In comparison to this, similarly, short interest hit a 52-week low back in October at about 21.3%. Although we've been seeing some short covering in this stock, these short interests are still quite high and above sector averages. We've seen short interest rising since mid-October and is now at currently 24%, so back on the rise again. Abercrombie and Fitch also announcing results alongside Saks. They've seen no movement in their short interest since announcing their dividend back in August. Short interest here is at about 8.5%. Moving on, just going back to Abercrombie and Fitch, actually what we have seen over the past week, just ahead of their results, is some recent short covering, down from 8.5%, now at 6.7%. Moving on, later on in the week, on Thursday, we see American Eagle Outfitters and also Gap announcing third quarter earnings too. American Eagle have seen short interest jump from 1.2% up to 3.4% since September. Similarly with Gap, we've seen an increase in short interest up since September again from about 0.5% up to 1.5%. Interestingly, here in Gap, we've actually seen an increase also in lendable quantity over the past couple of months. So a couple of other retailers also announcing are Dell and Wal-mart Stores too. Dell, positive sentiment here in terms of short selling. We've seen some recent short covering, and Wal-mart, on the other hand, although short interest is currently low and remains low in relation to its figures over the past year, we have seen a slight uptick in short interest. Thank you for listening, and to read the report, please go to www.dataexplorers.com/news. Thank you for listening and have a great day.